Picture this: a lavish anniversary dinner, a room full of friends and family, and then bam, your husband kisses another woman right in front of everyone. For Jessica, this wasn't just a shocker, it was a turning point. She'd been waiting for this moment, ready to turn betrayal into a stepping stone toward a new, empowered life. The opulent restaurant was a tapestry of muted golds and deep mahogany, a haven of luxury where the chandeliers cast a warm, flickering glow over the gathered guests. The clinking of glasses and soft murmur of conversation painted a picture of celebration. Yet, amidst this grandeur, a storm was brewing. Jessica Williams, resplendent in a deep red dress that clung to her pregnant form, stood as a solitary figure of strength and vulnerability. Her eyes, dark pools of determination, fixed unwaveringly on her husband Ethan. Ethan, a man whose charm was as finely tailored as his suit, leaned across the table to kiss Chloe, a woman whose beauty was as striking as it was treacherous. The room fell silent, the moment stretching into eternity as shock and disbelief rippled through the surrounding diners. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, their anniversary a testament to shared dreams and whispered promises. But here, under the scrutinizing gaze of friends and family, betrayal lay bare. Before we continue, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from, and what would you do if this happened to you? Make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter. Your support helps us bring more thrilling stories, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Jessica's heart pounded in her chest, a rhythm of betrayal and resolve. She had known this moment would come, had steeled herself for the inevitable revelation. Her expression remained composed, a mask of calm that belied the storm within. This was not an outburst of emotion, but a calculated reveal, a stage set for a reckoning she had meticulously prepared for. As whispers of Ethan's indiscretion flitted through the room, Jessica stood tall, her silence a statement louder than any words could convey. She had anticipated this very scene, had crafted her response with the precision of a master strategist. This was more than just a kiss. It was the catalyst for a transformation, the spark that would ignite a journey of empowerment and redemption. In the days that followed, the scandal spread, leaving a trail of intrigue and speculation in its wake. But Jessica was unfazed. She had been gathering evidence for months, her quiet perseverance laying the foundation for the storm she was about to unleash. Her husband's betrayal was not just personal, it was entwined with deceitful business practices that threatened the very empire they had built together. Jessica's path was clear. She would dismantle the facade of perfection that Ethan and Chloe had constructed, brick by deceitful brick. Her revenge would be precise, her justice swift. And as she set her plan into motion, she knew that this was not just about retribution, it was about reclaiming her life and forging a new path forward. The restaurant, now just a memory of betrayal, faded into the background as Jessica turned her gaze to the future. With each step, she moved closer to uncovering the depths of Ethan and Chloe's treachery, her resolve strengthening with every revelation. This was just the beginning of her journey, a journey from heartbreak to empowerment, from deceit to truth. The restaurant's echoes of betrayal slowly faded from Jessica's mind as she embraced the night air. This was the beginning of her journey from heartbreak to empowerment. With each step away from the ornate chandeliers and murmuring diners, she felt the weight of her decision settle upon her shoulders, comforting and resolute. The months leading to this confrontation had been a masterclass in intuition and restraint. It began with whispers of suspicion, quiet and insidious, that gnawed at Jessica during Ethan's increasingly frequent late Nights. She had noticed the subtle shifts in unfamiliar cologne lingering on his clothes, the distracted way he held conversations, and the furtive glances at his phone, as if guarding secrets that had no place in their marriage. Jessica, however, was no stranger to the art of patience. Her life had taught her the value of waiting for the right moment. Her instincts, honed over years of navigating the intricate world of fashion and business, told her to tread carefully. She knew she needed evidence, a foundation strong enough to withstand the inevitable storm that her revelations would unleash. Her investigation began quietly. With calculated precision, she started by observing, noting the patterns of Ethan's behavior. She feigned ignorance, adopting a demeanor of casual disinterest while her mind worked tirelessly to uncover the truth. Her nights were spent poring over bank statements and financial records, noticing discrepancies that hinted at hidden transactions within opulent threads, the empire they had built together. It was during these solitary vigils that she unearthed the first piece of the puzzle, an email carelessly left open on Ethan's computer, hinted at a clandestine affair with Chloe, a name that soon became synonymous with betrayal. Jessica's heart had tightened at the discovery, but she remained outwardly composed, her resolve hardening with each new revelation. The emails, once gathered, painted a vivid picture of infidelity intertwined with deceitful business practices. Chloe, it seemed, was not just a mistress, but an accomplice in siphoning funds from their company. Jessica's fury simmered beneath the surface, but she knew that anger alone would not dismantle the house of lies that Ethan and Chloe had constructed. With meticulous care, Jessica amassed evidence, each piece a thread in the tapestry of their treachery. She documented every incriminating message, every suspicious transaction, crafting a dossier that would be both her shield and her sword. Her eyes were set not merely on revenge, but on justice, a justice that would protect her unborn child from the legacy of deceit. Yet, through it all, Jessica's demeanor remained unchanged. She continued to play the part of the devoted wife, her intelligence concealed beneath a veneer of calm. Her silence was strategic, her patience a weapon as she waited for the opportune moment to strike. She knew that to unveil the truth prematurely would be to risk everything, and so she watched and waited, all the while weaving her plan with the precision of a master strategist. The decision to confront Ethan at the anniversary dinner had been calculated, a culmination of months of silent suffering and careful plotting. It was there, under the chandelier's flickering glow, that she chose to expose the betrayal, to rip away the facade and lay bare the truth for all to see. Now, as she walked away from the scene of her own liberation, Jessica felt the beginnings of a new chapter unfold. The seeds of deception had been sown long ago, but she had nurtured them into a garden of justice. Her journey was far from over, but with each step, she moved closer to reclaiming her life, to forging a future, defined not by betrayal, but by strength and resilience. The night was still, and as Jessica looked ahead, the city lights shimmering in the distance, she knew that the path to redemption was one she would not walk alone. With her unborn child as her guiding star, she was ready to face whatever lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that truth and justice were on her side. The morning after the confrontation at the restaurant, Jessica awoke with a sense of purpose that had been absent for far too long. The echoes of gasps and whispers from the previous night still lingered in her mind, but they no longer haunted her. Instead, they fueled her, a reminder of the resolve she needed to see her plan through. Ethan and Chloe might have thought they were the architects of her downfall, but they underestimated the foundation of strength she had built beneath her calm exterior. Jessica began her day with a meeting that was the first of many strategic steps. She sat across from a legal expert whose reputation for uncovering financial misconduct was as formidable as her own determination. As they pored over documents and outlined the plan, Jessica felt a surge of empowerment. Her voice was steady, her intentions clear. This was not just about dismantling Ethan and Chloe's deceit. It was about preserving the integrity of Opulent Threads, the company she had poured her heart into. Working discreetly was essential. Jessica knew that Ethan and Chloe were cunning, their eyes always scanning for potential threats. But she had the advantage of knowing their tactics, having observed their duplicity from within the shadows. With the help of financial auditors, she began to trace the intricate web of transactions that Ethan and Chloe had spun. Each discovery was a thread pulled from the tapestry of lies, unraveling the fabric of their scheme. The tension grew as Jessica navigated this delicate operation. She could see Ethan's confidence whenever they crossed paths at the office, his arrogance palpable. Chloe, too, carried herself with an air of triumph, believing they were on the cusp of victory. But Jessica remained unreadable, her exterior a mask that concealed the storm brewing beneath. Then came the moment of revelation, a critical turning point that laid bare the depth of Ethan and Chloe's treachery. Late one evening, Jessica received a call from the financial auditor, a breakthrough that sent a shiver down her spine. The evidence was irrefutable. Ethan and Chloe had orchestrated a plan not only to siphon funds, but also to marginalize her, to strip her of her role and influence within the company. As Jessica absorbed the magnitude of their betrayal, her resolve solidified into something unbreakable. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about justice. Justice for the company she had helped build from the ground up, justice for the employees who trusted her leadership, and justice for herself, for the woman who refused to be defined by the actions of others. The legal expert, now fully armed with evidence, assured Jessica that the case was strong. They discussed the next steps, each one a calculated move in a game Jessica was determined to win. Her heart swelled with a fierce protectiveness for her unborn child, who, unbeknownst to anyone, had become the silent witness to this journey of redemption. Jessica's determination was further fueled by the knowledge that she was not alone. Her allies, both old and new, rallied around her, each one a pillar of support in the face of adversity. With every meeting, every document signed, Jessica felt the weight of the past lifting, replaced by the promise of a future she was actively shaping. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but Jessica embraced each one with the courage of a woman who had nothing left to lose. The stakes were high, but so was her sense of purpose. As she walked the halls of Opulent Threads, she could feel the shift in the air, a subtle yet undeniable change that heralded the beginning of the end for Ethan and Chloe's reign of deceit. With each passing day, Jessica's plan unfurled with precision, her strategy a testament to her resilience and resourcefulness. She was no longer the woman who had stood heartbroken in a dimly lit restaurant. She was a beacon of truth, a force to be reckoned with, standing tall amidst the ruins of betrayal. And as the city lights blinked into existence outside her office window, Jessica knew that this chapter of her life was drawing to a close. The unraveling of Ethan and Chloe's plan was not just a victory for her, it was a declaration of her strength, a promise to her child that justice and integrity would always prevail. The morning light filtered through the blinds of Jessica's apartment as she sat at the kitchen table, her fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup. The aroma wafted through the air, a small comfort in the midst of chaos. Today was the day the world would see Ethan and Chloe for who they truly were. The authorities had the evidence, and the wheels of justice were set in motion. The news broke like a storm. Headlines screamed betrayal, scandal, and deceit as Ethan and Chloe's arrest became the talk of the town. Cameras flashed, and reporters clamored for statements as they were led away in handcuffs. The empire they had tried to build on lies crumbled under the weight of their deception. Jessica watched it unfold on the news, her heart a mix of triumph and sorrow. This was what she had fought for, but the cost was steep. As the public scandal erupted, the media frenzy painted a vivid picture of greed and manipulation. The court of public opinion was swift, and Jessica found herself caught in the whirlwind, a reluctant protagonist in a drama she never wanted. Yet, amidst the chaos, she stood resolute, a symbol of resilience and justice. Ethan's desperation became evident as the reality of his situation sank in. In a desperate bid to save himself, he agreed to testify against Chloe, offering details that peeled back further layers of their deceit. His voice, once confident and assured, now trembled as he revealed the intricacies of their scheme. Each word was a dagger, cutting deeper into the fabric of trust that had once bound them. Jessica watched from the sidelines, her emotions a tumultuous sea. Here was the man she had once loved, now a stranger revealing the depths of his betrayal. The personal and professional intertwined in a dance of destruction, leaving her to pick up the pieces. Ethan's testimony bolstered her case, corroborating the evidence she had painstakingly gathered. It was a calculated gamble, but one that paid off, strengthening her position and ensuring justice would be served. Yet, as the legal victories mounted, Jessica grappled with the personal cost. The collapse of her marriage, the betrayal of a partner she once trusted implicitly, weighed heavily on her heart. She had fought so hard for justice, but the emotional toll was undeniable. Each victory in court was bittersweet, a reminder of what she had lost. In quiet moments, she reflected on the journey that had brought her here. From the opulent restaurant where betrayal was laid bare, to the courtroom where justice was sought, each step was a testament to her resilience. She had transformed from a woman heartbroken and vulnerable to a beacon of truth and strength. But the road to healing was long, and each day presented a new challenge. The city outside her window was a blur of lights and chaos, mirroring the whirlwind of emotions inside her. Yet, amidst the turmoil, there was a growing sense of peace. She was no longer defined by the actions of others, but by her own strength and resolve. The journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. As the chapter of deceit and betrayal drew to a close, Jessica looked toward the future with a renewed sense of purpose. The path to healing was fraught with challenges, but she embraced each one with the courage of a woman who had nothing left to lose. Her story was one of redemption and justice, a testament to the power of truth and resilience. With each passing day, the weight of the past lifted, replaced by the promise of a future she was actively shaping. The unraveling of Ethan and Chloe's plan was not just a victory for her, but a declaration of her strength, a commitment to her child that justice would always prevail. As the city lights blinked into existence, Jessica knew that this chapter of her life was drawing to a close. The journey ahead was uncertain, but she was ready to embrace it, knowing that she was no longer alone. The air in the courtroom was thick with tension, an electric charge that buzzed through the gathered spectators. The room, a solemn theater of justice, was packed with journalists, eager onlookers, and those whose lives had been touched by the unfolding drama. The walls, lined with wood paneling, seemed to absorb the whispers and gasps, keeping the secrets of those who had stood in this dock before. Yet, it was the woman seated at the front who commanded the room's attention, a portrait of resilience and quiet strength. Jessica sat with her back straight, her gaze unwavering as the prosecution laid out its case with precision. Her presence was a beacon of integrity amidst the murky waters of deceit that had threatened to drown her. The prosecution, emboldened by the sheer weight of evidence, painted a vivid picture of betrayal and greed. Documents and testimonies were presented, each piece meticulously building a damning case against Ethan and Chloe. In her heart, Jessica felt the bittersweet satisfaction of watching the truth emerge, layer by fraudulent layer. The defense squirmed under the relentless onslaught, their attempts to discredit the evidence faltering under the scrutiny of facts. Chloe, once so confident in her manipulation, now sat hunched, her face a mask of apprehension. Ethan, pale and drawn, clung to the last vestiges of his bravado, yet each revelation chipped away at his carefully constructed facade. The courtroom was a crucible, melting away their pretense and exposing the raw, unpalatable truth beneath. Jessica's stoicism was a stark contrast to the unraveling duo. Her expression was calm, yet there was a fire in her eyes, a testament to the battles fought and scars earned. Each revelation was a vindication, a step towards reclaiming her narrative from the clutches of betrayal. The media, ever hungry for a story of downfall and redemption, documented every moment, their cameras capturing the fall from grace that once seemed inevitable. As the trial progressed, the jury listened intently, their expressions ranging from incredulity to outrage. The prosecution's closing arguments were a masterclass in rhetoric, weaving together the threads of deceit into an unbreakable tapestry. Jessica's evidence, once a lifeline in a sea of uncertainty, became the keystone of the case, solidifying the prosecution's position and leaving the defense with little room to maneuver. When the time came for the jury to deliberate, the courtroom held its breath. The wait was agonizing, each tick of the clock a reminder of the stakes at hand. Jessica closed her eyes, drawing strength from the journey that had brought her here, from the opulent restaurant where her world had shattered to this very moment of reckoning. She had fought tooth and nail for justice, not just for herself, but for her child, a promise of a future unmarred by the sins of the past. The jury's return was swift, their verdict decisive. Guilty. The word hung in the air, a final nail in the coffin of Ethan and Chloe's schemes. The courtroom erupted into a cacophony of emotions: relief, disbelief, and the intoxicating scent of justice served. Jessica remained seated, her composure unbroken, though inside her heart soared with the knowledge that the truth had prevailed. The sentencing was swift, the judge's words a pronouncement of the end of an era of deceit. As Ethan and Chloe were led away, their plans in ruins, the media pounced, eager to capture the downfall of those who had once seemed untouchable. For Jessica, the frenzy was a testament to her endurance, a public acknowledgement of her strength and strategic prowess. Yet, amidst the flashing cameras and fervent whispers, she felt a profound sense of peace. The battle had been won, the scars of the past laid bare for all to see. Her journey was far from over, but this chapter had closed with a message of hope and redemption. As she stepped out into the bright light of day, Jessica knew that she was no longer defined by betrayal, but by the strength she had discovered within herself. In the aftermath of the trial, the city seemed to pulse with a new energy, each step she took resonating with the promise of a future she was ready to embrace. The road ahead was uncharted, but she faced it with the courage of a woman who had weathered the storm and emerged stronger on the other side. Her story, one of redemption and justice, was a testament to the power of truth and resilience, a beacon of hope for those who might find themselves lost in the shadows of deceit. In the aftermath of the trial, Jessica found herself standing at the crossroads of her life, the echoes of the courtroom still lingering. With the gavel of justice having struck its final note, a symphony of possibilities played before her. Gone were the shadows of betrayal that had once clouded her vision. As she stepped into this new chapter, her heart pulsed with a renewed sense of purpose, a purpose that had been forged in the fires of her trials. The seed of an idea, nurtured in the quiet moments between battles, began to take root in her mind. Jessica envisioned a fashion line that would reflect the authenticity and resilience she had come to embody. It would be an ethical brand, one committed to sustainability and transparency, values that had become non-negotiable. For her, this endeavor was not merely a business venture. It was a testament to her journey, a canvas on which she would paint the story of her rebirth. With the past firmly behind her, Jessica plunged into the world of fabrics and designs. She surrounded herself with a team of like-minded individuals who shared her vision. Together, they crafted garments that spoke of elegance and strength, each piece an echo of the woman she had become. The work was demanding, but with every stitch, she wove a narrative of hope and resilience, each thread a reminder of the path she had walked. As the line took shape, so did Jessica's transformation. She had shed the skin of a wronged spouse and emerged as an empowered entrepreneur. The reflection in the mirror now showed a woman who had reclaimed her identity from the ashes of deceit. With each passing day, she embraced her new role, drawing strength from the lessons of her past. The launch of her fashion line was met with anticipation and curiosity. Consumers, weary of the fast-paced, impersonal world of fashion, gravitated toward the authenticity and honesty her brand promised. The response was overwhelmingly positive, the garments resonating with those seeking meaning in their choices. As her brand gained traction, it began to set new standards within the industry, challenging competitors to reevaluate their own practices. Jessica watched as her vision blossomed, her heart swelling with a sense of fulfillment she had never thought possible. The impact of her work exceeded her expectations, touching lives far beyond her immediate circle. She was no longer defined by the betrayal she had endured, but by the legacy she was creating, a legacy built on integrity, resilience, and empowerment. Yet, beneath the professional triumph, there lay a personal victory that brought her unparalleled peace. The revenge she had sought through exposure of the Mistress had not only silenced the whispers of infidelity, but had also liberated her from the chains of the past. No longer burdened by the need for retribution, Jessica was free to forge a new path, one defined not by vengeance, but by redemption. The city, once a backdrop to her trials, now pulsed with the promise of new beginnings. As Jessica walked its bustling streets, she felt a profound connection to the world around her. Each step resonated with the rhythm of her journey, a journey that had taken her from heartbreak to empowerment, from betrayal to triumph. The road ahead was uncharted, but she faced it with the courage of a woman who had weathered the storm and emerged stronger on the other side. Her story, one of redemption and justice, stood as a beacon of hope for those who might find themselves lost in the shadows of deceit. In the quiet moments, when the city lights flickered against the night sky, Jessica found solace in the knowledge that she had not only survived but thrived. Her journey, though far from over, was now defined by the strength she had discovered within. Herself a strength that would guide her as she continued to rebuild and reinvent her life. In this new dawn, Jessica embraced the future with open arms, ready to pen the next chapters of her story, one of resilience, empowerment, and unwavering hope.